All right, ladies and gentlemen from all around the world, coming to you from the Spit Studios in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. This is the Spit Sports Show. Holy moly. Okay, so usually when I do these shows, I have one day where I create an episode, edit it all, blah, blah, blah. And then I have another day where I make the short form content, where I have to cut it up all into clips so I can post all over social media and diversify the brand. You know what I mean? But of course, as soon as I'm doing that today, a bombshell drops. And I'm not saying I'm not grateful for it because I haven't been able to talk about a recent NBA story since this freaking podcast started, except for the James Harden stuff, which wasn't even really like a story. It was more just like two people going at each other, if you know what I mean. But this really is Damian Lillard goes to the Milwaukee Bucks for a bunch of things, but most importantly, the Bucks get rid of Drew Holiday and Grayson Allen. The Suns get rid of DeAndre Ayton, and it's the Blazers get DeAndre Ayton, a bunch of picks so they can rebuild. The Suns get some depth, but I want to start with the Milwaukee side of this, obviously, because there's so many angles to go on this. But the reason that this trade happened is two words: Giannis Antetokounmpo. This guy is ambitious. He has a lot of pride as a businessman, as a basketball player. In general, Giannis is that guy. He wants to win at all costs. He has gone on a media spree this past year and a half about how if Milwaukee isn't trying to win every single year, he's not re-signing there. He is eligible to sign a contract extension very soon, if not right now. He's not going to do that unless he is sure that the Milwaukee Bucks are going to try everything in their power to win another NBA championship. He said to the New York Times, "I don't want to be 20 years on the same team and don't win another championship. If I have to win somewhere else, I will," is basically what he's saying. So what did Milwaukee do? They said, listen, once every 50 years, we get one of these franchise guys who can single-handedly take us from a bottom-feeding team to a perennial championship contender. 50 years ago it was Kareem. Now it's Giannis. We don't know if this guy wants to stick around if we don't try everything to win this year. Let's freaking do it. Let's go all in to get this other superstar in Damian Lillard. Oh my goodness, he should be happy right now. Let's start with the good of this trade from Milwaukee. Obviously, this game is about superstars. And the Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo pick and roll is probably going to average a point per possession, which is going to open up the floor for everybody else who plays with them. Portis is going to get more open looks than he ever has. Brook Lopez, who has turned into a solid three-point shooter, is going to get great looks. Chris Middleton is going to be wide open on that little mid-range elbow shot that he loves, or from three-point range. He was a 40% three-point shooter a couple years ago. Even though he's getting older, you don't really lose your jump shot with age. I love that. And their osmosis is going to make other people better because they're going to know it doesn't matter who we're playing against. We got those two guys. We got the second best shooter in the world and arguably the best player in the world on the same team. I think their personalities are going to match perfectly. Both of them are very committed family men. Both of them seem like they're pretty low key. Both of them are desperate to win. So I think both of them together is going to be awesome in terms of off the court relationships, which is really important for your two superstars. I think they're going to work really well together. The issues with Milwaukee, there are a few, namely their perimeter defense, in my opinion. When your starting backcourt is Damian Lillard and Chris Middleton, you're going to get a lot of buckets, but you're going to give up a lot of buckets. And what scares me is in the East, you got a lot of perimeter players who can do damage. Jaylen Brown is still in Boston. Jason Tatum plays on the perimeter. James Harden is still in Philly for the time being. Who's going to guard these guys? It's not going to be Middleton. He's 100 years old. And Dame has never been much of a defender. That's really been the only criticism on his career so far. So that scares me a little bit. Also, what scares me is the fact that they are so big, it's going to be tough to spread the floor. Like, they're all decent three-point shooters. Portis has turned himself into a solid shooter. Lopez, like I said, but they don't have many pure stroke kind of guys on that team. And like I said, on the perimeter, where their defense is going to be lacking. So that scares me a little bit. But all of that, I say that to say this, they're undeniably the best team in the East right now on paper. I'll take them against Boston any day of the week. Or Miami for sure. Or Philly without question. The only team that scares me at all out of those three is Boston because they're so perimeter heavy. They're going to play 5 out the majority of the time, which is going to limit Milwaukee's defensive strategy because they don't have many guys who are mobile. So Boston's going to be an issue for Milwaukee. But for the rest of the East, man, oh my goodness. I think they're going to run through the entire conference. I think them versus Boston is the Eastern Conference Finals right now. I'll tell you that. That's who I would say. The only team that I think matches them now, talent-wise, from top to bottom, is the Lakers. But the issue with the Lakers is both of their superstars are not in their prime. Their second or first superstar last year, actually, LeBron, he's going into year 21. We don't know what he's going to look like. I think he's going to look really good because he always does. And it seems like he's practically ageless at this point. But if he doesn't, Milwaukee is the undisputed best duo in the league in terms of fit, in terms of personalities, in terms of talent, in terms of everything, really, when that used to belong to the Lakers. I still think the Lakers have better depth than they do. But in the playoffs, it's usually your superstars who get the damage done, and Milwaukee's superstars would beat the Lakers. Right now, that's my finals pick, Lakers Bucks. But obviously, we have a long way to go until this season starts. I love this trade for Milwaukee. It's a all-in move, trying to appease a superstar who you'll probably never see again in this city, who wants to be in the city, but only if they want to win and if they want to try to fulfill his aspirations. And it seems like they do, and I totally respect that. I want to talk about the Suns for a second, though. The Suns, talk about top-end talent. They've got it all. Chris Paul, Durant, and Beal, or Devin Booker, Durant, and Beal. Chris Paul is a Warrior now. Probably the best 3 players together talent-wise, and all they did was try to shore up their depth. And I really respect that because that was my main issue against them is they didn't have much of a bench last year. They relied on Jacques Landale to play a majority of their bench minutes. And overall, they were the most top-ended roster I may have ever seen. And they're trying to fix that. Only issue is they are small now without Aiden in the middle. I don't think they have a single guy who can play over 20 minutes a game who's over 7 foot. I heard some people throw out Mitchell Robinson, but I don't think Thibodeau's going to let him go. He is that type of player that Thibodeau just loves having on his team. I've seen some people throw out some other guys like a Vucevic, but Vucevic isn't a very good defender, which is what they need. Phoenix is going to have some trouble getting stops. And if they play Milwaukee, who is going to guard Giannis? I'm really looking through their roster right now, and I'm trying to think who is going to guard Giannis. And I don't think they have anyone who can really hinder Dame that much. They're not very tall, and they're not small. They're right in the middle, which is fine, but they don't have either side, if that makes sense. They don't have a big guy, and they don't have a little guy. They have everything in between. And when you don't have that, it feels like the roster is still incomplete. I think they have another move or so to make until they're real contenders in the West. They probably already still are. They're a top tier contender for sure, but they're not my pick. I still think the Lakers are better than them for sure. Obviously, the Nuggets are better. I don't know how the Warriors are going to look, but I'll take the Mavericks over them. I know they had a horrible collapse last season, but to me, that was more circumstantial than the actual talent they have. Phoenix might be good. Phoenix might be really good, but they need to shore up that roster and get some more top-end height players and some bottom-end height players. And last but not least, the Blazers' perspective on this. They did exactly what they had to do. It's time to rebuild around Scoot and try to put as many pieces around him as you can. And, I know they got rid of Nurkic and he's going to Phoenix. But let me go back to Phoenix for 1 second. Nurkic isn't a defender. I know he's 7 foot, but if you watch Enes Kanter back in the day, he was 7 foot and couldn't defend either. Neither can Nurkic. All right, he's 7 foot, but he can't guard, and that's the issue there. But with Portland, them getting all of these picks a bunch of depth pieces, a bunch of young guys who can try to support Scoot. It's exactly what they need to do. They need to hit the reset button and build around a new franchise player. I think Scoot's going to be awesome. I think Portland's going to be a really fun watch for the next couple years. I don't think they'll win a championship with Scoot just because it's so hard to build a team in Portland because no one wants to go there. It's hard for me to believe that Scoot's going to be a better player than Dame, and Dame can get a superstar up there or anything even close to a superstar, to be honest. He had to go to Milwaukee. And also Dame gets to keep his, small town, hometown kind of feel. So it's perfect for him. Portland gets what they want. Everyone kind of got what they wanted. I think Phoenix got the short end of the stick in this trade because they still have more moves to make. But Milwaukee and Portland, they are set. They know exactly what they want to do and what they're going to do, and good for them. So that is my immediate reaction to the trade. Milwaukee's the favorites in the East. Portland's rebuilding again, and Phoenix needs one more piece. So let me know what you guys think of the Damian Lillard trade. This came out of nowhere. Like, it was reported it was going to be Toronto for a while, and then this morning I woke up, it was Miami back in the driver's seat. Oh, Miami's got to be so mad. This was their conference to win for the next few years if they got Dame, and they just let him slip between their fingers. I don't know why. I wonder what the piece was that was holding up that trade for them. I'm going to be very interested to see that reporting come out. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. The Spit Sports Show comes out every other day, and as always, I will see you in the next. Peace out.